Five Kingdoms, Book 5, Time Jumpers. Chapter 3, A Radiant Deed. Honor had changed back to her human shape by the time the Legionnaires encountered them. The smart, uniformed soldiers appeared astonished by the discovery. They abandoned the room once they realized who they had found. When a high-ranking officer returned, he had Honor and Destiny put on brown robes with coals. Cole got the same claustrophobic hood back over his head and was led out of the room by the same iron collar. He was preceded along a winding route to a wagon that carted him away. When he tried to strike up a conversation, Cole found he was alone. He tried to sense Honor's power, only to find that whatever connection he had established no longer remained. They had survived a Wendell for now. Maybe Stafford would be worse. Cole had met the High King before. At the time, Cole was posing as an errand boy. Would the High King remember him? Would Cole even get an audience with him? What would be the fate of the mysterious kid discovered alongside two of the lost princesses? Execution seemed like a realistic possibility. After the wagon stopped, Cole was taken on another excursion. He could tell he was indoors once again. The air eventually grew cooler, damper, smelling of stone and rot. He descended many steps. Several doors opened and closed. He was finally unhooded by a surly guard inside a dank cell. The poles were detached from his iron collar, and a chain was threaded through his collar and locked to the wall. When the guard closed the cell door, the torchlight departed with him. The cell was almost too small for Cole to lie down. He thought he remembered seeing a little hole in the corner for relieving himself. The chain seemed just long enough to let him reach it. Cole was sad to lose the company of the princesses. He hoped that they had better accommodations than he did. He wondered if their father would try and take their powers again. Could he do that without a Wendell? Sighing, Cole sat down. The stone felt uncomfortably cold even through the clothes. Being locked in a dungeon seemed like an appropriate symbol of total failure. Could he sink lower than this? Maybe a torture chamber. Or a coffin. The longer Cole sat, the more he began to appreciate the quiet and the darkness. One thing about languishing in a dungeon, it put your other responsibilities on hold. He tried to push his power into the collar again and into the chain that attached him to the wall, but to no avail. He had felt strong connections with Wendell's power and Honor's power, but everything else remained unreachable. Cole discovered some relief in the lack of responsibility. If Romero got free in the near future, Cole could do nothing about it from prison. He thought about Jenna at the Temple of Stillwater, awaiting his rescue. He pictured Jace, Joe, and Myra back in their physical bodies somewhere in Necronum. He wondered about Dalton and Hunter, who had avoided getting drawn into the Echolands. All were most likely facing their own troubles, and there was nothing Cole could do. It might be up to his friends to rescue him this time. The iron collar, the chain, and the locked cell door meant he wasn't going anywhere for a while. Leaning against the chilly wall, Cole fell asleep. Cole awoke when his cell door opened. A pair of guardsmen stepped inside, taking up most of the remaining space. One held a torch. "On your feet," one of the guards ordered gruffly. "Yeah, okay," Cole said, trying to fully awaken. The guards leaned close, looking at the collar. He held a tiny key. "I don't see where to put this," he said. The torchbearer stepped near, squinting. The jailer could have been more specific. "The chain is just looped through my collar," Cole offered. I think the lock is on the wall. The guard studied where the chain was fixed to the wall, undid a lock, and slipped the chain from Cole's collar. The guard, with a torch, stepped out into the hall. The other motioned for Cole to follow. The guard, without a torch, slid a hood over Cole's head. Really, Cole said, isn't it dark enough? You're a top priority prisoner, the guard said. We're escorting you to a high-ranking official. We'll be using some secret corridors. We have to keep the way secret. The guard took Cole's arm and led him forward. The guard did a good job warning Cole about upcoming obstacles and steps. For a long time they headed upward. Cole heard a couple of quick interactions with jailers. When he sensed brighter light seeping through the hood, they walked for a time before it became dark again. More stairs, endless stairs, then several twists and turns and doorways. When the hood was finally removed, Cole stood in a spacious, opulent bedchamber. The huge four-poster bed had a canopy and velvet covers. Through the parted curtains, Cole beheld an aged man propped up on pillows, his complexion an unhealthy gray. Upon recognizing Cole, the man's expression sharpened with a sudden interest. You. Though they had met not too long ago, it took Cole a moment to recognize the man in the bed as Stafford Pemberton. With less hair, deeper wrinkles, slighter shoulders, and looser skin, the High King looked at least 20 years older. "Hello, Your Majesty," Cole said. The king's eyes darted to the guards. "Thank you. I require a private audience." The guards immediately departed. A lone guard remained in the corner of the room, holding a crossbow. He was not one of the guards who had brought Cole from his cell. "No funny business," Stafford warned, "or Toto will put a quarrel in you. He is deaf and mute, thus the perfect escort for private conferences." Stafford began coughing, small at first, then louder and louder and wetter. As the fit wound down, he wiped his lips with a handkerchief. "Come closer, I can't afford to shout." Cole approached the bed. Stafford studied him. "I remember you, the errand boy. Rod, was it? What subterfuge is this? Why were you being held by a Wendell with the two of my daughters?" "I've been helping them," Cole said, "protecting them. My real name is Cole." Stafford coughed again, eyes shut, chest heaving. He spat into his handkerchief and opened his eyes. "I am weary of the many schemers seeking personal advantage through my offspring. The unseen want to justify a revolution. Wendell wants a coup, a co-op. The hour has come to..." He became lost in another fit of coughing. Cole listened uncomfortably to the wet hacking. Stafford wiped his lips again and took several shallow breaths. "The hour has come to take action. I have remained dormant too long as my foe plots to my demise. You are a member of the unseen?" "Not a member," Cole said. "I'm just helping your daughters." "You misrepresented yourself, Cole. You offered a false name to my face. Lying to the king is punishable by death. Why should I refrain from enforcing the law? Because a radiant deed shines forever." Stafford paled. His eyes widened. "Impossible. Where did you learn that phrase?" "You told it to me," Cole said. Stafford's eyes hardened. "My father spoke that phrase to a handful of people. All are long in their graves. Over my lifetime I uttered the phrase to 3 persons. None of them were you, and you would have been born long after the last of them died. You told me in the cave of memory." Stafford covered his mouth with a hand that was all tendons, wrinkles, and liver spots. "Intriguing, plausible. An imprint of me resides there, an imprint left years ago, a secret portion of my history, a younger self, but me, and mentally sound, in some ways more than I am now." "My imprint shared the phrase?" "You told me it could bring a reward." "I must have trusted and appreciated you immensely. Stafford said. Baffling, unexpected, my daughters vouched for you. They warned that I needed to treat you kindly. Honor spoke of a rising threat. One only reported to me as a rumor so far, Nazim, and a new name, Romero, the master who taught Owendell shapecraft. I met Romero, Cole said. In the Echo Lands, I tried to keep him in prison. He got free. I slowed his return, but not permanently. Cole shared similar. Honor shared similar. Stafford turned away and began coughing. Frail shoulders heaving. He hacked up phlegm and spat it into a handkerchief. She expressed similar concerns. His eyes looked watery. Could you pass me the tonic on my nightstand? A single stoppered vial rested on the bedside table. Cole handed it to the king. Stafford unstopped it, sniffed the contents, and winced. Vile stuff. Meant to scare the sickness away, I suppose. He took a long sip, swished it around in his mouth, and then swallowed. A sour grimace followed. Nasty? Cole asked. Dreadful concoction, Stafford said. I should lend it to my interrogators. They have every secret out in no time. It eases the coughing, but the royal stomach and bowels pay a price. I was saying? Honor had similar concerns, Cole reminded him. A trivier of legend about to commence a reign of terror from the help of Owendell, Stafford said. Frankly, it sounds absurd, like fairy tales invented to frighten children, or perhaps propaganda devised by Owendell to inspire awe. He handed the vial to Cole, who replaced it on the nightstand. You saw this, Trivier? Honor did, too, and the others in the Echo Lands. He's real. Send spies to the Echo Lands. Lots of people there know about Nazim. You believe you can stop this, Trivier? Stafford asked. Somebody has to, Cole said. Indeed, Stafford said. When you met me in the cave of memory, I take it you liked me? Yes, Cole said. What did you do for me? Why did I share the phrase with you? I intend to be supremely cautious as an imprint. The imprints can hold your new memories, Cole said. Your imprint only recalled what he knew up until you left the cave. I'm aware of how imprints function, Stafford said. I used rocks to spell out that you ended up with Harmony, Cole said, so the imprint could remember. Tears filled Stafford's eyes. One took a crooked path down his wrinkled cheek. I see, clever boy. You found a weak spot. Yes, at the time that would have meant everything to me. Why? What do you mean? Why the act of kindness? You've been protecting my daughters. You must have unfavorable feelings about me. You could say that. Then why? Cole thought for a minute. I liked the Stafford I met in the cave. He seemed like a good person. Stafford shifted against his pillows. He coughed gently. He was, Cole, he whispered. I was. He stared at Cole uncertainly. Would you believe that man is still inside me somewhere? Would you? Cole shrugged. I guess he has to be, right? Stafford looked away. I don't know either sometimes. I'm sorry, Cole said. I'm dying, Cole. You can see that. You look a lot older than the last time we met. The powers I borrowed prolonged my life, Stafford said. He cleared his throat. The shaping powers I stole from my flesh and blood, they prolonged a certain youthfulness. As I lost my hold on those powers, the stolen years began to catch up to me. The aging accelerated the more power I lost. Now I only retain a small portion of elegance's power. I don't know whether I will hang on until it departs. I tried to keep my waning health a secret. My rule has grown unstable enough without my enemies knowing I am bedridden. Have you had success? Cole asked. Probably not, Stafford said. I had 11 spies executed this year. Spies caught right here in the first castle. If you catch 11 rats, how many more are still in the walls raiding the pantry? Maybe a lot, Cole said. I've lost a lot of spies too, Stafford said. This year, no less than 30. Right here in Junction City. The majority taken by a Wendell, no doubt. Hard to be sure. He is crafty, Cole. I am a high king of the 5 kingdoms. I'm dying, and there is not a single person I fully trust. Cole winced. That sounds terrible. And along you come with your radiant deed. Cole said nothing. You witnessed me as I was, Cole, Stafford said softly. I never meant to become who I am. I went on from that cave to win harmony, and it was wonderful and so intimidating. Children were born. All the unrest and problems and strife of the 5 kingdoms and 1 capital flowed to my front doorway. If you ever want to ensure your worst enemy never again enjoys a good night's rest, make him a king. I was daunted, Cole, overwhelmed. I was not up to the challenge. Wendell offered me a critical support. Cole nodded to show he was listening. Wendell gradually moved from the background of my life to the forefront, Stafford continued. Under his guidance, I made the necessary connections to win harmony. When the crown came to me younger than anyone expected, he quietly became my right hand. He reduced my burdens. He fixed problems great and small. He showed no interest in acclaim. I came to rely on him, and I never relied on anyone. And then, as my 5 daughters grew, their abilities flourished. One day he made a suggestion. Take their powers, Cole said. Borrow them, Stafford clarified. The word was always borrow. I had no idea borrowing shaping power was possible. Wendell assured me it could be done, just for enough time to firmly establish my rule, to provide Harmony the strong husband she deserved, to grant my daughters the protection they needed, to give my subjects a monarch worth heeding. So many selfless reasons to commit a supremely selfish act. Stafford shook his head. I was struggling to lead grand shapers and counselors and other governors who were so much more powerful than me. I was insufficient. I had married into much more than I merited. Wendell offered a chance to become the man I should have been, and you took it. Stafford gave a small nod. And that marked the end of the man you met in the cave. Cole stared at Stafford solemnly. I did not know I would lose my daughters instead of protect them, Stafford said. I did not expect to destroy the trust of my wife, and I never anticipated how much I would adore the power. Wow, Cole said, surprised by the candor. I have lived many years, Stafford said. I consolidated power as no other ruler of the outskirts has done before, and I lost my way. I see it now, as I wane. It's like an awaking delirium. I lost my way, Cole. Cole gave a nod. A king, even a high king with astonishing powers is just a man. Only a man. Subject to the weakness and foolishness, he longs for the same basics any man longs for. He suffers from many of the same insecurities that torment other men. A king has resources, and yet those resources can quench certain longings, but it can also be used to hide frailties. Those resources can conceal flaws. They can prevent certain wounds from being tended and healed. They can... Look at me. I'm rambling. It makes sense, Cole said. It's so sad. Stafford harumphed. I'm not looking for sympathy. I lived large, Cole. I threw an enormous shadow. Few ever lived larger. Whether feared or loved, my name was known in every corner of the land. My voice was heard. My presence was felt. None of the 5 kingdoms would be the same without me. Stafford sniffed. No man lives up to his ideals. No man. Not if he reflects deeply and honestly. We all have failings. I lived very large, Cole. My failings were magnified. They became enormous. Cole didn't know how to respond. The bitter truth, the starkest reality. If I could redo it all, I would have never taken their powers. I longed to pretend it was worth it. I wish I could claim it was difficult but necessary. A brutal obligation of governance. The truth is understood too late when my decision really meant. I would rather have a mediocre king. I would rather have been a mediocre king and a good husband, a good father. But I cannot go back, and I cannot repair what has been lost. Despite my regrets when I felt the power leaving, I fought to keep it. Fought hard, Cole. It was torture to feel the power slipping away. The damage to my relationships had been done, and so I wanted to at least enjoy the spoils of my folly. They were all I had left. Maybe you can still help your family, Cole said. I never wished them harm, Stafford said. Through my darkest hours, my love remained consistent. I realized that my actions shouted louder than any words I can pronounce, but I never wished them harm. Not Harmony, not my girls. They even remained part of my calculations. I would help them now if I could. Unfortunately, in this hour of gravest need, my capacity dwindles. Romero is real, Cole said. He is coming. You command a lot of people. I've engaged my forces, Stafford said. I turned Wendell into a fugitive to take my daughters from him. I know he is no longer my ally. I've known for years. I was not sure I could survive a war with him, even with my full powers. Now our precarious stalemate is broken. He will try to make me pay. Wendell is focused on his master, Cole said. Stafford coughed softly. He sat up a little straighter. You are more than I expected to be. I expected you to be, my young boy, and I owe you a favor. Ask. You have the king's attention. Where are honor and— Leave my daughters out of it, Stafford interrupted. They are quite safe, including from me. I have neither the ability nor the inclination to disturb their powers again, and I will not have them drawn into more danger, regardless of their protests. Leave my daughters out of it and request your favor. I have many resources at my disposal. I have no objection to you pursuing the issues of Romero. I came here from the outside, Cole said, a place called Arizona. The latest group? Stafford asked. Did Ansel bring you? He brought a lot of my friends, Cole said. I slipped through to help them and got caught too. I'd like to find my friends. The king frowned thoughtfully. I do not know the location of those slaves. None were powerful enough to be serious interest to me. I have no objection to you finding them. The slaver Ansel would know. I received a report on Ansel. We had him in custody for a time. He has returned to the 5 Roads. I believe he is organizing another slave excursion. Would you like to visit him? It made Cole sick to hear about another slave excursion. Another batch of innocent kids would be ripped from their homes and forgotten by their loved ones. And for Stafford, it was just a business as usual. Cole did not understand how anyone could permit slavery. It was utterly incomprehensible to think of how a leader could let kidnapped children serve as the supply. But this was not the moment to fight this battle. I can't go to him yet. I need to stop Romero first. Then what is your request? I don't fully trust anyone who works for you, Cole said. Stafford frowned, wrinkles sagging further. I do not. Will you free me? Cole asked. Let me go to Harmony for help? Closing his eyes, Stafford took a couple of measured breaths. Yes, one eye opened, and I will do better than that. I will make you my personal agent and give you my royal seal. You will outrank any general you meet. For as long as I wear the crown, you will speak with my voice, command with my authority. I will cover any expenses you incur. How does that suit you? I can hardly believe it, Cole said honestly. Don't be too grateful, Stafford said. You will be swimming in dangerous waters. Starting now, you are one of the few people I doubt will outlive me. Please prove me wrong. I'll do my best.